Hi, welcome to our channel, Arthur and Josie. My name is Arthur.
And I'm Josie. We're glad to have you here. And this is a place where you find Christian-related content on marriage, dating, relationships, parenting, and if that's something that's of interest to you, please subscribe and press the bell button so that you don't miss out on any video that we upload onto this channel.
So today we're going to be talking about one of the things that we know lots of couples face in their relationship, but it's also something which we know they tend to struggle with in terms of the dynamics that it entails, and that is to do with finances. So we know that every one of the couples is going to have to deal with the issue of money at some point, whether it is buying groceries or buying a house. And we are not trying to make everyone a financial expert. I don't think we would call ourselves that.
Yeah.
But it's just about how, as a couple, you can go about making some of the decisions that you have to make as a couple when it comes to finances. And hopefully it will be of some help to you.
And I can agree that we would all probably decide on different ways of handling finances. I can't say that we're doing it right. We've also tried and found one thing that works for us and different things, and I can't say that it was worked for us straightforward with the word go. We've had going back and forth and to realize that's what made sense for us and worked for us in our marriage. And we've been inspired by different people around us, so we get inspiration from people around us and those others who tell us what has worked for them. So we thought we'd come to you and discuss. In all honesty, I'm one who is quite far away from money. He's more into that field. He's trained in accounts and finances, so he understands money more than I do. I know that you work and get money, and I know how to spend it. But about a lot of money planning, I leave the big job to him. He does a good job with that. He probably could start off with telling us how the decisions we took and what inspired us to do that.
But I think at the end of the day, it goes back to that old adage: two cannot walk together unless they agree.
That's true.
And I think that's the basis of this whole thing. So when we first started going out all those years ago, at the time we were university students who were not working, so we didn't really have much to us. But we made a conscious decision when we started working to sort of start putting money together and agree on what we wanted to achieve with that money. And we set up a joint account, and each of us, we were earning different amounts of money. So we agreed, okay, each month we're going to put into this account X amount. And it didn't matter where it came from. Whether it was from her pay or my pay, it was what we had agreed that would go into that account. We were both joint signatories to it, so either of us could put money onto that account, but no money could be withdrawn from that account unless we both signed off on it.
Maybe if I could add on to that, actually what we did, we would put together, we started actually doing it before we started working, officially working I could say, because being a university student, I didn't reside in the university quarters, so I used to get some living out allowance from the university. And then I remember I used to do some little job,
I used to do the secretary jobs here and there, and get paid
at the father's place of work.
But not it wasn't much. It was like a living allowance of sorts for when I would travel for work.
And because we are quite broke, we didn't have money of our own, regardless of how small it has, actually we made much out of it. We stretched it, we saved it. It's amazing how much you can save when you hardly have much, and then you get much and realize it's almost impossible to save. I don't know. It's just strange, but we had that little money. We started putting money together when we had started dating.
And we would actually sit down and agree what we wanted to do. So early on, one of the things that we decided to do was to buy a small plot of land somewhere.
Yeah.
It was just after we started working. We didn't have enough money for it, so we decided we'd save up for it.
Yeah.
And then when we identified the piece of land, we knew the value. We actually set up this savings account so we could not access that money for about a year, I think.
Yeah, I think.
And
Maybe, probably, there might be some of our audience who don't understand the whole idea of buying land. We come from Uganda, Kampala. We were born in Uganda, raised in Uganda. And it's not common that people save up money for mortgage and buy a complete house. What is common, I know there are still many people now, it has been rolled out, many people buy ready-built houses. But the commonest is buy a plot of land, you save up money, buy a plot of land, then save up money to build your house with the plans you prepared. So it might be people from Africa might understand. Most of us work that way. I won't generalize for Africa, but that's common practice.
Yeah, so at the end of the day, we'll come up with our sort of monthly budgets, put them in a spreadsheet somewhere, and then make sure that we both had visibility of what the other was earning, and while putting together the budget.
Yeah.
And that helped us, that transparency helped us make sure that we just had no secrets or any animosity. And for both of us, it actually helped that money has never really been a big thing.
Yeah.
It's always been a means to an end as opposed to being an end in itself.
And
that has helped quite a lot because it meant that Josie didn't look at my check and say, "Oof, you're earning so much," and I didn't look at her check and say, "Oh, you're earning so much," and so on and so forth. And that really helped. Yeah. And those same principles have helped us a lot when it's come to even how we handle finances. Even now that we're married. So Josie, when we moved to the UK, we've said in our introductory video before from a few weeks ago, we have a couple of kids, and when we moved to the UK, they were still quite young. And those of you who live in the UK, you know that childcare is a very, very expensive venture if you're to get kids into childcare. So she decided to sacrifice some of that time, and she's been really helpful in that. And we've still applied those same principles, but maybe she can talk more about that whole childcare thing.
And probably even before childcare, we've lived in the UK. First lived in the UK in 2010, 2012, returned to Uganda, then came back. And still, like Arthur said, we've always had the joint finances from when we were dating, and we discuss major decisions, financial decisions together. And it's always important that we all agree on all these things. I know it wouldn't help. I think we had a mentoring couple when we were dating who used to have joint finances, and they shared with us how of the importance it was to their marriage. And I think it brings about a sense of clarity, transparency in a marriage. You don't start questioning what is he using his money for. He's doing this because we wanted to take all that out of the picture, to have a clear marriage, knowing that we are doing things together. So from the very start, we took it on to have joint finances at the end of the month. We don't do it every end of the month to sit down and see where we're spreading the money, because now we know which standard expenses we have to spend on to. And thanks to my lovely husband, he's so good with finances and accounts, so he always has the spreadsheets. Sometimes he shows me things and it looks like a different language altogether, but I trust that he has it all in control and care. But over time, at least we know what we are putting where, and what is going into investment, what's going into savings. It has helped us know actually not to live beyond our means. So we always know what is disposable money, disposable income we have on us to spend. And once we reach that threshold, we know whatever decision we make, getting into money saved for something else has an implication.
Yeah, and I think that's a very crucial thing.
Yeah.
One of the biggest challenges anyone, and this is not just couples, this is individuals even, have with money is living beyond your means.
Yeah.
So, for example, the house that we live in now is within our means.
Yeah.
When we first got married, it was way outside of our means. We would never have afforded it.
Yeah.
But what's happened is we have made sure that the whole thing of cutting your suit according to your cloth,
Yeah.
just making sure we live within our means. And that has helped us avoid debt.
Debt, yeah.
Debt isn't necessarily a bad thing, so long as you manage it well.
Manage it well.
But if you get into debt to finance something that is beyond your current means, then you probably need to revisit your priorities.
Yeah.
There's no point having a wonderful car, for example, and yet you're living in a house which is in an unsafe neighborhood where your car's security is at risk.
At risk,
Even
yeah.
if you've got insurance, your insurance premium is probably going to be really high.
Higher than,
Higher
that's true.
than it should be. And everyone will have their own priorities, but it's just something for you to think about.
To think about.
Live within your means and be faithful in principles like returning tithe.
Tithe, yeah.
And God will make sure that He blesses you, and you'll find that actually you will adjust your way of living, but the underlying principles will help you maintain a healthy financial position for yourself and your family.
Yeah, that's true. So I was talking about, I know we've gone off, but we are talking about the very first time we lived in Manchester in 2010. Arthur had gotten a job secondment to come and work with the same firm in Manchester, United Kingdom. And that time it was just a period of 2 years. And in his mind, he was like, he can't bring me with him. We had just gotten married. We were just 1 year into marriage. He came into the country. I was 5 months pregnant. Fast forward, the 2 years were going to run by so fast. And in his mind, he thought he wouldn't bring me for 2 years to have a child and just go back home without any additional. So because we had joint finances and we could agree on things together, actually, he decided, because I didn't work then, because I was expecting then a newborn baby. You don't have any family around. I knew it was my responsibility to stay and raise that child. And actually within those 2 years, he saved up. All his savings went into paying for my master's degree. And I thank him. I think that would be something we would have struggled to do if we had had separate accounts. But we sat down together and we saw what we would save up for and what we wouldn't afford. I know it wasn't easy. It was just the grace of God that we managed to afford that. But because we had a common understanding and then we agreed on that together, and that was possible. Fast forward, we came back to the UK in 2015. And that time, our youngest was just 1 and our eldest was 4. And just uprooting kids from your comfort zone back home where they're surrounded by relatives, uncles, aunties, grandparents. So they always preferred, you wouldn't want to uproot them, then drop them into a nursery where they don't know anyone. So it's always good practice that they come and one of us is present to raise them.
Yeah, it's made a difference. We've seen, and maybe it's something that we can talk about later, but it's made a difference in their behavior and
their confidence
and how they handle social the social setting around them, and we've seen this from comments from others. So it's been really good.
Yeah.
But I've also had to make sure that I provide for Josie and for the family.
Yeah.
That there's stuff, as some of you will know, she will know a lot more around what's around the house and the home, and stuff which she's a lot better than me at, and I have to make sure that I provide for that.
Yeah.
And when she tells me we need to get X, Y, Z, so long as it's something that we're able to get, by all means. There are occasions when we're just not in a position to, and we then agree, okay, let's park this for now, we'll revisit it a little later, and make sure that she has some money that she can spend on herself or whatever she wants. It may be clothes, it may be some makeup or whatever she wants. because she will need that. It's not like all the money is going into savings.
Yeah, and investments.
Or investments. Yeah, that's all for the future. But there are needs for now.
Yeah.
But again, it really goes back to the principle of making sure that you agree. The more transparent you are, the better. Now we know everyone faces different challenges.
Yeah.
But that's how we have gone about it, and it has. I'm sure it has saved us a lot of trouble. Things that we may not even be aware of, just
That's
because
true.
we've made sure that we agree on how we're going to handle the finances, and it's been really helpful for us.
Yeah. And we don't want to say that our way of handling finances is the right way. We thought of handling it in such a way, like when we made those vows and said, what is mine is yours and what is yours is mine. Given that right now I'm not working, but there are no major decisions Arthur makes for finances without consulting me. And it's important that we both agree at this point. When something big comes up, if it's something to do with home, sending money home a good amount, it's important that we all agree, isn't it? And what benefits do you think we've reaped from this, from having a joint finances and joint accounts?
I think one very big benefit is trust.
Yeah, that's true.
In every relationship, and this is not just marriage, even in business relationships, one of the most difficult things to cultivate is trust.
Yeah.
And you can never know at the outset of the relationship how everything is going to go, because you cannot tell the future. No one can tell the future.
No one can do.
But that doesn't mean that you don't put in place things that will help you cultivate that trust. And having transparency in our finances and how we handle them, it has helped with trust.
Yeah.
It has meant that, I mean, there are times when, for example, the first house that we lived in, when we first returned to the UK, I saw it, Josie didn't see it, and she didn't know how much the rent would be, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And I told her, no, look, I've seen this place. We don't have enough time for us to both come and see it. We won't have the opportunity, but trust me, it will be really good.
Yeah.
And she trusted me to make that decision on my own. I've trusted her to make certain decisions on our own, but it's because by having some of that transparency, it has helped to cultivate that trust.
Yeah.
And which has continued to manifest in many different ways.
Yeah.
And I think also another benefit is seeing God's blessing
Yeah, that's true.
manifest in our lives.
Yeah.
There are many experiences we've had where we've not. It's not been out of our own efforts.
Yeah.
But we've seen God come through for us.
That's true.
In big ways.
Big ways.
She mentioned earlier how a lot of the savings from my pay from when we were first in the UK in Manchester went towards her masters.
Yeah.
What she didn't mention was at the start, to be honest, when she told me she wanted to do this masters, I wondered, where's this money going to come from? But we were faithful in returning tithe. And I remember one particular afternoon. It was a morning. She was supposed to be starting her master's classes about a week later, and she needed to have 50% of the fees paid. And we had only paid, I think, about 20%.
Yeah, 20%.
Or thereabouts.
Yeah, about 20% or less.
And we had no idea where the rest of the money was coming from.
Yeah.
But later that very day, I received an email from the taxman telling me that they had made an error with some of my tax calculations from months before, when the very first time I'd come into the UK, and they were sending me a refund later that day, which would clear by the end of the week, and that came in just in time to pay the rest of the about 60%
of this,
and it's money that we hadn't planned for. I didn't know that this was coming in, but yes, someone out there would argue that the taxman had made a mistake, and they always come back to you and they refund you.
Well,
the way that we look at it, God timed it so well
So
because
well.
we had no idea.
Yeah,
I
we
had
had
no
no
idea
idea.
that this
Mm.
money was coming.
Mm.
But she knew what the position was. I'd told her, this is what the position is.
Yeah.
We've been returning tithe. This is how much I'm paying in tax. This is, and so on and so forth. So she knew all about that.
Mm.
And when it came in, it was just a testimony for us.
Yeah.
And we have got a lot of other examples, and
Examples,
maybe
yeah.
we'll speak of those later.
I think we've gone on, but hope you picked up something from here. And one thing that probably comforts us, that time even when we are looking for the money, I reminded myself of the scripture that the psalmist says, I've been young, but now I'm old. Yet have I not seen the righteous forsaken, nor their children begging for bread. And I've relied on the scripture for so many years, knowing that when you entrust God with what is His, when you know you return tithe and offering to the house of God, and what in Malachi God says, then shall I open the floodgates of heaven, and there won't be enough to contain it. That point when I remember that time we thought we had faith, but our faith was tested until we saw it come into action. Do you know, most times you can confess what scripture says, but until you're at that place between a rock and a hard place, that you see those words that you see on paper, on print, come to life, and you get to trust God as the Lord, your provider. Because we can say He's my provider when you're not in need. But when you're in need and see Him come through, that's when you can attest to His provision. That's when you come out and say, the Lord is my provider. And you know Him as Jehovah Jireh, your provider. Yeah. We've been blessed. We thank God that even when we don't have much, for some reason He gives us value for money, that we've extended it. He's made it possible. And He's blessed us beyond measure, honestly. If someone had told us 10 years ago when we got married, I would be in this place, probably Arthur doing what he's doing and I'm doing what I'm doing, we would be in shock, a bit in shock. Probably that the story about how we've moved on will come on sometime to come. But we've tasted and seen the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. Yeah. We might not live in extreme abundance, but we are satisfied of the Lord. We'll stop here for now. We've talked a lot. Probably something we'd want to hear from you. How do you handle your finances in your relationships, in your marriages? Let us know.
Yeah, and that might be something for us to learn.
What has worked for you?
Yeah.
Do joint finances work for you? Do separate accounts work for you? What do you think is the powerful thing? What have you benefited from the way you handle your finances? We are not here to give advice. We are also sharing with you what we know. We don't have all the answers, but we can probably share from our experience what has worked and what hasn't worked.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, we shall stop here for now. If you've sat through this video and watched and you're not subscribed to our channel, please don't leave without subscribing. And please like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, Arthur and Josie. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.